and Arden, especially the roamer, which actually gives that protective factor. So it's actually, yeah, like I was saying, ban out the Arden so that you open up the Baron into more clean engagement rather than he has that protective factor from either of these three roamers. So with these three roamers out of the picture, INLF has a better chance into engaging into a Baron, and Baron does not feel as safe as he once did with the other three roamers. And we can see that Team Infamous is going to, with their very famous composition, which is with the Castro and the Samuel, and expect to see a lot of lane pressure is what they do best with this composition.
Definitely. I mean, both Castro and Samuel has got really good sieging potential. And honestly, the side of Infamous don't really need the early kills as well, with the amount of damage coming out from Castro and Samuel. Get the opponents low enough. And of course, you can take down that turret at the end of the day. We do see a Krul coming out for the side of Team ASN. We've seen Chingy on this Krul, and Chingy plays a really good distraction comp with this Krul being picked up, and we do see it again. So I mean, with the Krul, you can get on top of a Castro ASAP. You can get on top of Castro. You can put up weakness stacks on the Castro. Castro would not have any answer for you unless, of course, Castro immediately goes into the active camo and stun the Krul out immediately. But then, of course, we saw Chingy on this Krul, and I think it was Chingy on the Krul that built double reflex blocks in terms of Crucible and, of course, Aegis. But one thing to note, Krul is kind of weak in that of the early game, so Samuel might have a one-up on the Krul. What do you think, Rubber Monkey? What do you think ASN game plan is?
I think that picking up the Krul as of last pick is not completely a bad idea. In fact, it actually allows the team ASN to play more cautiously and more safe, because with a Krul pick, you don't want to overextend, because at any point of time you overstep or misposition, a Krul will take opportunity of that moment and just take you down along with the Baron damage. So that kind of creates that environment where Team Infamous just don't want to simply position themselves anywhere, and they should be aware of where Krul is. And so that's like a really good pickup for Team ASN. But it also kind of weakened their early game pressure composition. So I don't know, man. These matches have been going on and on tonight, and compositions that I felt was in a disadvantage actually won as well. So it really comes down to
Okay. So let me ask you, who do you think has got the disadvantage now? Do you think ASN has got a disadvantage now?
I would say ASN.
Okay. So you think ASN has got a disadvantage, right? And since you had to cast the curse, I will vote against you. I think ASN will win this match. Anyways, we are right into the fold at this point in time. Let's hear your thoughts. I request it all. Who do you think has got advantage in this game?
Is tough to say. I mean, you talked about this Baptiste pickup being flexible, and we're going to see it on that captain role. And, you know, it provides a lot. It has the CC with the slows and the stuns from the Ordain, as well as the Fair, which can be quite massive if you position yourself well enough. And it's just a good disengage tool there. So Batista, no way being a bad captain pickup. So with that, you know, looking at the side of Infamous and the rest of their comp with the Kestrel and Samuel, a lot of damage coming out there. And we've seen it before, I believe, of Kestrel and Samuel on the same team today even. And, maybe it was the Kestrel going against the Samuel, if I'm wrong.
I'm not too sure myself. I'm going through my notes as rapidly as
we have seen both of them play today, both of those heroes on the fold, and for good reason. And I think the Samuel will be quite effective. And I'd just like to see Spaghetti's Kestrel be as effective as what we saw in, I believe it was the third place matchup. Rubber Monkey would know if he's able to tell me. There we go. Brangchon playing that Kestrel, and it was to great success as well, because they just got that Soul Blade with the double Tyrant's Monocle so early, and they didn't back down to go for defense. And that's why I want to see come out Spaghetti on this Kestrel. And I think if the team's going to do it, Infamous have the experience and confidence to do something like that. But then we look over at the side of ASN, and you talked about they've always got to be worrying, where is Chingy on this crew? And so I think if ASN are able to, you know, kind of try, and it's why I consider for most of the parts, and what Rubber Monkey talked with before about how whichever team kind of takes the advantage in the early game and gets that upper hand, definitely they're looking more probable to win, because when these matches are so close, it really comes down to that. And we'll see how well this crew and how effective this crew can gank.
Definitely. I mean, Cruel, generally, you do not excel in early team fights, but then we do see Cruel maybe coming up for the gank, like you were saying. Minion candies is actually popped on those minions, so they are quite empowered, but then they are quickly taken down by the likes of Baron and Tezaboy on Chingy. Anyways, Chingy is going in.
We see Chingy going in. The active camo is down. It's going to stun up Aeon and Tezaboy and going to force ASN to have to back off from this one. But Chingy has not left yet. They need to be so careful diving in on this Kestrel, and I think that could be a definite factor for why I would agree with Rubber Monkey saying Infamous might have this game. They have the Batiste with the CC there, as well as the active camo being put down by Spaghetti, and it's just so tough for Cruel to get on that backline. However, I mentioned if Cruel can, I think ASN have this one. So that's my call at the end of the day between these two teams. We see Chingy going in once again, but Ordained is dropped and they fall for the first blood. So a bit of a bait tactic there, and they were able to pick that one up. And it should be Tezaboy and Aeon being very careful right now to not die as Cameron actually goes down, and Aeon so low. Is this going to be an early turret at 3 minutes 40? It might just, and Infamous taking that, showing their objective dominance, and this time lane dominance as well. We saw in the previous match ASM were able to get that early ace, and maybe that really helped with the confidence as well, as they were able to push through for the win in that first match.
Definitely, but then when it comes down to the late game, both teams scales really well. I mean, the side of Infamous would scale better with that of Weapons Castro scales really well because they do not generally build defense, so you will be, your damage wise at least, will be up against the Baron's stat for stat, because you are going to go for that tension, you are going to go for that Sorrow Blade into the tension bow, maybe into the Bone Saw, but probably Tyrant's Monocle first item, and probably Tornado Trigger or Bone Saw as your next item. We do see Cruel, Chingy on that Cruel, just posturing up for a probable gank. An early turret does go to the way of Infamous, and we've seen this gameplay before when Infamous were up against the EA team Ace, and they really didn't want the kills, they just want the objective, and this is what we are seeing coming out from the side of Infamous as well. Minion Candy is popped, they are preparing for another push. Chingy is up there in the bush, and Uni will face that.
Yeah, it's going to be Chingy jumping onto Uni and manage to secure the kill. They're going to be in more tame, but they don't even need to move out there because Samuel is locked down and they're able to pick up that kill easily. Tezaboy positioning themselves closer to the enemy, probably looking for a merciless pursuit onto them, but they don't have the re-engage potential right now as it's only Aeon up here. But ooh, I might take that back as they got the stun off. I was expecting Aeon to jump towards, but they might have seen the active camo there and just backed off. Right now, Chingy doing a good job, and this is what we talked about, the effectiveness of Crew. And I believe, was it even ASN earlier today in our first matchup where they played this double weapon power comp?
Yeah, I think it was ASN. No, I think it was Infamous that went with the double weapon with the Ringo and Cruel being picked up. Yeah, it was definitely Infamous going up against Impurity, where they banned out the Castro, they picked out the Lara, and then Cruel and Ringo. So honestly, I think Infamous knows how to play against a double weapon comp. I mean, although it has been meta so far, not a lot of people have picked it up. I mean, I'm glad ASN. Ooh,
from House Hard going on to Spaghetti, and they get mounted instantly. And the plus side of playing Weapon Power Orchestral is that you can active camo during a fight, but that's not going to matter if you're dead instantly. And you can also see Tezaboy with the flares helping to secure those kills, making sure Kestrel doesn't get away sneakily. Aeon actually going to get stunned out as he tries to jump away from that one. One shot, one kill, going to come out, but doesn't land onto Aeon, who is the primary target at the moment. You can see going very low. Tezaboy trying to do what they can to body block, but it's a bit of a bait as Chingy is in the wing lurking. Manages to pick up another kill, actually handing that one over to Aeon, but Aeon needs to still be careful. Are they going to continue to bait? Because you shouldn't play with your food too much. If Uni is able to get the Drifting Dark down, this fight could turn around in seconds. But she's going to use boots to just back out this one. Now dropping the Drifting Dark, but it looks like Baron is far away enough to not get hit by the AoE damage there, and is going to be up to back to base.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time when they are responding to the siege very well. They are going to go for the gold mine just to hopefully extend their gold lead a little. They are sitting at a 2k difference in favor of Infamous, of course. The gold miner would put them up to slightly less than 3,000, but then with that, I'm sure they are happy. They are going to go for the objective game. They're not going to allow the side of ASN to just build up into the late game monster that Baron is. I mean, a casual pickup is really smart. I mean, you have your damage, and then you can out-damage Baron if the Baron is not careful, and all you have to do is just rain down glimmer shots upon glimmer shots on Baron. And if you can just soak up 2 damages or rather 2 shots from Baron, you will probably win in that skirmish or a 1v1. Probably, I do not have the numbers yet. Spaghetti might go low, but then you have your 4 glimmer shots at the end of the day.
What I just hope ASN are able to do, especially going this double weapon comp and going this burst weapon comp, you can see the tension bows coming out on both of the carries for the side of ASN. There's going to be a flare, and he doesn't even worry about it as he throws out the From House Heart, and Oblivion is going to drop on SNK to try disengage that fight. Meanwhile, Kestrel getting around the backline, landing the shots onto the Baron, and now it's going to be Chingy following up. He's going to fight for his life, though, almost taking out SNK with him, but not quite. And why worry about ANS, especially going up against a team like Infamous, who are so objective controlling as they are right now? We saw it previously in the first matchup today that ASN had, and they weren't really able to, I guess, close out the objectives when they needed to, and that did cause for a bit of a problem when they lost one of those matches. However, they have made it out to the finals now, and we'll have to see if they're able to learn from their mistakes. It's just going to be so crucial at moments when Kraken comes up that they're able to push it through and end this game soon, because if not, Infamous are going to just be able to take this into the late game. They only have to build one type of defense, and it's going to be that much easier against a burst comp that's going to be less effective at that late game stage.
In that particular fight, I really like how Spaghetti on this Castro is playing. He actually just active camo into the backlines just so he can target. Oh, Chingy is in the mustache brush, looking for something, but then nothing would be that of what Chingy would be looking for, finding, sorry. And honestly, I really like the team comp and how Castro actually played out in the team fight, just going into the backlines, going after Aeon.
You see the silence coming down with Blastrum, and Chingy was on that backline, still hiding away, but it's going to be the Oblivion Iron Cannon, however, going to pick up a trade kill for Samuel, and now it's Aeon jumping in on Spaghetti, managed to pick up a kill. SNK now on the run from Tezaboy and Aeon. The Merciless Pursuit not for another 3 seconds, and they're not going to be able to follow through with that. Tezaboy also low on energy, and Aeon fairly low on health, but able to stick around here. They shouldn't be too worried about SNK on this Batiste, as he's not going to put out too much damage, but they need to be cautious of the returning teammates on the side of Infamous. And I would say that fight definitely went in favor of ASN. You saw Chingy, he did his job. He went in, bursted them down, and then the Iron Cannon was able to pick them up. Obviously, ASN would like something a bit cleaner and be able to lock down all the targets getting an ace, because they've yet to get themselves an objective, and the gold lead is slowly pushing ahead for the side of Infamous, sitting at 27.2k over to 22.7k of ASN. So they're in a bit of a tough spot right now, and you pointed out before, I believe in our previous match, that it really comes down to the gold difference between these teams. They're even in kills, but it's gold difference in objectives and what they're going to do with once they get those kills, what objectives they're going to take. And right now, they're both in favor of Infamous. They have that gold lead, and they have the objective lead.
Definitely. And there's one thing though for the side of Infamous. What went wrong early on in that team fight was they weren't aware of Chingy's whereabouts, and they immediately jumped on Aeon 222, in which Aeon acted like a distraction there. Chingy went in for Samuel immediately. Ooh, they might be caught out while taking gold mine at this point in time.
Yeah, it looks like ASN want to contest for this one. They're not going to get Blast Tremor did go down, but a bit late. Chingy still holding on to that from House Heart. Will be able to use it now onto Samuel. I'm going to jump in instantly, follow up with that, able to get the kill into the Samuel, but it's going to be Oblivion dropping down, not before Ion is used, so they're going to get a bit of extra damage to try help out Chingy. And this is the way ASN are fighting, with one of them is going to die in this first comp. And one time, I believe, one fight, if they continue like this, they might be able to get right. In that situation, they actually knew Chingy was there. It's just so much burst coming through by Chingy and Aeon. As soon as Aeon jumped in after the From House Heart landed and was able to help out with that. But you could also see the danger coming through when you've got big ultimates like Oblivion and Fearsome Shade coming through from the side of Infamous. Those all need to be blocked out. Otherwise, it's going to be Infamous with the team wipe.
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of team fights out there that happen and went in favor for the side of ASN. Problem is that they cannot quite close it out clean. And at the end, like in the end, the aftermath of not being able to close out clean is that they are unable to take out any objectives at all. They really need Aeon to be in the front, to be alive for them to take out any objectives. I mean, Chingy can go in, burst the hero down, and then immediately die afterwards. There is no problems that Chingy can do that, but then they really need this Aeon, Baron on this Aeon to just survive, to have any chance at coming back, to be honest, because Chingy cannot quite burst SNK down, but then Aeon can. Aeon on that Baron can and is able to burst SNK down. So they're gonna start to prioritize who their main hero target should be, and that really should be another team, and then keep Aeon alive as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, and right now Infamous kind of just regathering themselves, regrouping control of this match, and you can see as well of vision control, which is so important in the situation when they need to know where Chingy is, whether he's making a rotation around to the backline. And we keep talking about Chingy on this crew because it's such a key component to whether the fight is going to work out, whether he's able to get that surprise attack onto the enemy here. And of course, keeping Baron alive, as you said, is the second part of it, because they need to be able to confirm objectives and kind of push something through here. Yet this turret, the first turret for Infamous, has barely been damaged, and you've got to really give it to Infamous to be almost 15 minutes in, and they still have that first turret up. They have so much control right now, and they're taking two away from the side of ASN.
Right, so we do see Spaghetti infused, picking up that bone saw as well, just so to counter, just so to tear down and shred all the armor. Oh,
one shot on kill going into the bush. It's going to be responded by from House High, and there's going to be the Oblivion straight on top of Samuel and Baptiste trying to protect them. And there's a lot of damage going out onto the side of ASM. They need to be careful here. Fearsome Shade going to miss out on Chingy because that crew is rather hard to hit right now. There's going to be Ordained, but Aeon just shooting him from the back line. I think they need to be careful here because Uni is going to drop that Drifting Dark. Isn't going to follow through with it, however, because he knows Cruel has to be ready and waiting in that bush. And there he is. He jumps in, following through, but Kestrel on the back line, able to pick up the Baron, and it's going to be Cruel picking up the Baptiste, but however, Kestrel then turning that focus to the Cruel and finishing off with a triple and an ace. Kraken is on the field, and this is why Infamous are winning. We talked about kills and getting objectives from those kills. Even though up until this point it's 9-8, ASN just weren't able to get the objectives after their kills, and Infamous show them how.
Yeah, and honestly, Spaghetti now is really just playing like Chingy on the Cruel, just hiding in a brush and just only popping out just so he can secure kills or take down the Baron, or when he has a clear view of Aeon on that Baron. And I think it's a really smart play coming out from Spaghetti as well. He has to do that. He can't quite be in the front line together with that of Samuel. because he really needs to go into the back lines, into Aeon, and try to remove Aeon from the entirety of ASN on the total equation for that matter as soon as possible. They are going to siege this turret, and then of course, with just look at the amount of damage Spaghetti has, and there is nothing the side of
Ion Cannon gonna come out, Chingy able to lock down that Samuel. They pick up a kill, but look at Aeon with no defense at the moment. It's gonna die to SNK by the help of Spaghetti pushing them out. Of course, Spaghetti gonna find that active camo hit with the Glimmer shot, and they find another one, and it's just Chingy can't stick to Spaghetti at the moment. Spaghetti's got to a point where they're too far ahead with the Sora Blade, double Tyrants, and a Bone Saw, and they're just going to move their way onto this turret. However, Tesboy trying to do what they can to stop Spaghetti from the damage they're putting out. It's not going to look good for them, and that's going to be game 2 going over to Infamous, because wow, that Kestrel, I have to agree with you there, is almost like the MVP for just making those, getting around onto that backline and playing similarly to how Chingy was, and it just counter-reacted them because there was no defense on Aeon. The reason ASN's comp was working was because Aeon was on the backline putting the damage in, and no one was meant to touch him. They were the aggressors, but Infamous, they played that game too much. They know how to play the aggressive game, and they know how to turn it around.
They definitely do. I mean, just looking at how Spaghetti was playing, Spaghetti knows, and I think what Infamous has over ASN is the ability to adapt and adapt fast. We did see Spaghetti usually, or rather early on, just being in front, being in clear view.